First had Greer and his guys out talking about aliens and black sites. Then we had witnessed the whole Disclosure Project come out and drop some pretty big bombshells that the public just missed. They went in front of Congress. They told them everything about what we have, the black sites, housing, different entities, and they even showed, for the first time in history, an object, a UAP UFO, getting hit by a missile, breaking into multiple pieces, and those pieces still flying with it. Now we have word that there's a movie about to drop on the same thing, and there were hints that it has to be Trump that does this, that drops the big message. We even had Greer himself state that the world isn't really going to accept this until someone in a position like Trump gives a statement on aliens or the fallen, and we all know, well, if you follow me, you should know the fallen have been here the entire time. But this is going to be the big show, and what they say here and how this goes down is going to be big time. So Laura Trump gets interviewed, and she's asked about Barack Obama's comments about alien life. To me, it was another breadcrumb. It was thrown out there precisely out into the masses to be consumed. Another little bit to where they heard another president already say there's aliens, but they're just not at Area 51, pretty much. And then he tried to go back and add a couple more.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noah's in the gospel broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever they may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. It says they are here. Trump has pre-written speech, Salakia. Trump has pre-written speech to address discovery of aliens. Prepare for deception. As you know, you have what they call Project Bluebeam. Now, let's go here real quick. Let's do this. Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam. Because apostles have been speaking on this for a while. How they can fake some type of evasion. All right. To be justified on passing certain parameters and certain legislation to roll heavily on the men of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and just Israelites in general. Because see, when they say alien, they really are even though they know that the angels of heaven, and they call them aliens, which alien just means foreigner. All right. This means just a foreigner or a foreign object to something that's common, right? Like when you go into Ephesians 2, it says those that were alienated from the commonwealth of Israel, meaning that we were casted off because of our disobedience. So, when they say alien among us, they're talking about Israelites too, because, you know, Jake, you know, we're technically the aliens in this society because, you know, we're foreign and this is not our world. But anyway, hold on, let me do this. Project Bluebeam, Serge Monsat. Let's look this. It says here, Serge Monsat was a Canadian conspiracy theorist, and this is what they do. They always throw that term conspiracy out there. It says he is mostly known for his promotion of Project Bluebeam conspiracy theory, which posits a plot to facilitate a totalitarian world government by destroying Abrahamic religions and replacing them with a new age belief system using futuristic NASA technology and involving a fake alien invasion or fake extraterrestrial encounter meant to deceive nations into uniting under world government. Now, I believe, what president was that? What president mentioned the world will have to come together to face aliens? And I can't spell today. Yep, Reagan. President Ronald Reagan mentioned that the world might come together to face an alien threat during a speech at the United Nations General Assembly on September 21st, 1987. It says Reagan suggested that such a scenario could unite nations by creating a common bond, asking, I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. Which shows you that these presidents, these leaders, these elites know the coming of Yahweh Shai. All right? They know. And this is one reason why they want to stage a world alien invasion, because the average dummy out here, or the Christian, don't understand what the so-called UFOs or the angels of heaven, they don't understand that. And they don't understand how Yahweh Shai is coming back, which they refer to him as JC. They believe he's just going to come back in a cloud like Goku on Nimbus, or there's going to be a miraculous rapture that everybody is, playing ping pong, you at the gym doing pull-ups, and all of a sudden, only thing that's left is your Kobe's and your LeBrons and your jersey, man. Fucking weights dangling, planes are crashing out the air, like it was a series called The Left Behind series when they showed the concept of a rapture, and this is how the world thinks that Yahweh Shai is going to come back. But see, when you understand and analyze the scriptures tells us that he's going to come back as an angelic force. Okay, the scriptures say, I will not meet thee as a man. So he's coming back with angelic power and with the host of heaven. All right, and Esau knows this, and this is the reason why he's gearing to. And we don't know for sure what he's going to do, but according to the documents and the way that they're speaking, it's probably very likely that, they want to stage some type of event to get people on edge. And then when the real event comes, then people, they won't likely look forward to it. They won't know, because, they'll be totally deceived, by alien invasion, which we would know the difference, because technically when a destruction comes, that's when Yahweh Shai comes with the chariot. So we know that there has to be a war that transpire, which will pretty much shake this globe, man. All right. And we have to understand that that's when the true angels of Yahweh Shai will pop up and deliver the elect. But anything prior to the mark of the beast, anything prior to the Third World War becoming a hot war, it's all cap, man. All right. And we going to prove it. But let me play the rest of the video and we'll get a couple of precepts.
More details, but they did it. They did the job that they were looking for. Planting the shocking seed of a precedent saying, yes, there's aliens out there, and they did it nonchalantly. So now, the only thing left to do is for Trump to give this big speech. And she responds that her and Eric asked her father-in-law about aliens, about extraterrestrial life. And that his response was, well, he played coy. And they asked themselves, wow, like, he's going to keep it from us, even us, and not tell us? Like there was something there. And then she says she was told that he has a speech. He has a speech pre-written that is ready to address the discovery of aliens. For a man that has been saying, oh, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that, playing it all off, well, there's a speech that's pre-written and ready to go. So now we know the cat's out of the bag. Trump is going to be the one to give this address to the world. Do you understand how massive this is? Everybody stop for a second, wrap your head around this. What's about to take place. Get ready. This is going to be the paradigm shift of paradigm shifts. The fallen have been here the entire time. Who do you think gives them the technology? But how they play this on the masses means everything. Will they roll out blue beam all over the place with a bunch of UFOs? Will they put us under threat? Or will they say that they actually are peaceful and want to help us, but we're the bad guys? And they won't.
No, and the aliens that he's talking about that's among us outside of angelic forces is talking about the Israelites. Okay, we're considered the angels. If you go into 2 Peter, I think the first, what is it, 2 Peter, when it goes into how we left our first estate, and then you go back into the Napoleon, or the sons of God, which was traced through the line of Adam, through the line of Seth, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and you look up the sons of God, you go to the book of Genesis, the 4th, 5th, and 6th chapters, and also if you study the table of nations and understand the lines of the son of the Most High, which come through Adam, or said Seth, the righteous line, then that's how you understand who the sons of the Most High is. Okay, even when you go into the book of Luke, it breaks down the genealogy of King David, which Mary, Yahushai's mother, was directly of that lineage as well. So Yahushai was a direct descendant of King David, which is a son of the Most High, which is the Israelites. And that's a really simple concept to understand if you're in the spirit. But they don't understand that because these people, they don't know the history, you know. But anyway, let's get a precept real quick. Zechariah 5, and let's start at verses 1. And it says, and I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said it to me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. So the roll that Zechariah the prophet saw was what they would call today a UFO, which is known as a chariot or vehicle of the Heavenly Father. And you can read about that in Psalm 68 and also Ezekiel, the 1st chapter. Acts 1 goes into it as well. And Esau, he's been picking up these things on his version of these particular sonar radars. And it was to the point like these pilots of these major carriers, they was seeing chariots so much to the point that they was told to stop reporting on it, because every time they take flight, you got chariots, man. Hell, Tuesday, before I started working that evening, and I went outside, some said go outside, and I went outside and opened the door. The sky was literally like orange because it looked like we was getting ready to get hit with a storm or something within the area. And I kid you not, a dark colored chariot flew right over me, right over the building. And I'm like, wow, there go a chariot right there, you know? So the Lord he's with us, man. He's around, and he's getting ready to bring total destruction into these people. And this is why these elites are nervous. That's why they hiding in bunkers, man. But it says, and I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said it to me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, and to the length thereof is 20 cubits, and to the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. So also, this will be the 250th year of America's so-called birthday, which after 250 plus years or so, kingdoms fall rapidly, which we've been in a decline since World War II. All right, they've been going down rapidly since the World War II. And this is why Yahushua say, behold, I seen Satan fall from heaven as lightning, because this devil is going down head first. He's swan diving off the diving board into the pool, but instead there's no water to catch him. You know, like how in them Tom and Jerry cartoons or the Bugs Bunny cartoons, when they dive out the planes and they go head first. That's how Esau was falling. This is why they're declassifying all this stuff, man, because their time is up. That's why the Epstein files are coming out. This is why they're World War III. It's no coincidence that the timeline that's set up, they're making time, man, because they're getting ready to be brought out of power. So from henceforth, this devil, he's cooked. So he's getting ready to come down with extremely great wrath. All right. And it says here, the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof are 10 cubits. And he said it to me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. All right. Why is it a curse? Because for one thing, the inhabitants of the planet earth are wicked. All right. And the Lord, and we're going to read it. It says, and for one that stilleth should be cut off as on that side according to it. And everyone that sweareth should be cut off as on this side according to it. And who stole us? Esau, the so-called white man. All right. And we're still found in his possession today. And it says, and I will bring it forth, says Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter to the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof, man. So this place is going to receive the wrath of the Heavenly Father through the angels and also those missiles, man, when it says fire and brimstone. And this is why he's getting ready to give his little bullshit ass speech, which they've already know that the chariots and that the angels are already invading the airspace, man. You know, I think it was 1947, maybe 1952, when the chariots popped up around the White House, you know. So Esau was cooked, and he knows.
It won't help us unless we give up all of our weapons. Something's about to happen. It's huge. It is absolutely huge. They are about to come out the shadows. It's going to change everything from here.
Yeah, because the New World Order, you know, like I was reading with this guy here, going into the Project Bluebeam, it even told you that, you know, the government is going to stage some type of alien invasion, man. Which a lot of these so-called sea theorists are insiders, by the way. But my thing is, when he's getting ready to speak on this thing, you know, when is he going to give the speech? You know, could it be on the 250th B-Day? We don't know. You know, but These people are cooked. They're not ready. All right. Let's go here. Matthew 24. Exciting times, brothers, man. Exciting times. It's the book of Matthew 24. And I'm going to start at verses. Matter of fact, let's get it in. Matter of fact, yeah, let's read that. Matthew 24. And I'm going to start at verses. Let's start at verses 20. Oh, let's start at 19. It says, woe unto him that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. You know, you women out there that's having all these babies by these different men. Your children are not going to be defended, because the spirit of the Heavenly Father is not supping with you. But pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on a Sabbath day, for then should be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, no flesh shall be saved, but for the elect's sake those days should be shortened. So time is speeding up, because ultimately the Lord is getting ready to get this devil out of bounds, man. All right, the Lord is getting ready to kick his ass right out of power, because the Lord is tired of Esau. You know, and it may not seem like that from hindsight, because it's like, okay, you hate this devil, then why is he still in power? But see, the Lord, he can't go back on his word. He will not. All right, once the Lord established the word, then it has to play out. And times are speeding up. We are already Thursday. It's already Thursday. I'm like, damn, tomorrow's Friday. It's a blip. But it says here, then if any man say unto you, lo, here's the anointed, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false anointings and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders. And so much, if it were very possible, that they should deceive the very elect. This is why that Project Bluebeam, or whatever they're going to do, however they're going to do it, it's not going to catch the men of the Lord off guard, because we understand that's not according to the scriptures. So we see some hologram chariots flying in the air and doing crazy shit, and we're seeing like I believe back in 2024, a lot of people don't remember this, but on the first day of the year in Atlanta, I believe it was in Atlanta, they had allegedly these hybrid creatures walking through the mall, and people was batshit scared. They was batshit insane. Me personally, I believe Esau was experimenting with his technology, because you haven't heard anything of that. Okay, that shit died out maybe after 2 or 3 days. Why? Because there was a blackout on it. You know, and very well Esau could have been using or experimenting with his technology to see how people was going to react. So if he stages an alien invasion, people are going to bug the hell out, man, because they watch movies like Independence Day, which Independence Day is based on biblical accounts, because that's how Yahweh Shai will come back with the angels. But people are going to bug out because they're not enlightened, and they totally staved off the words of the men of the Lord. Okay, they don't listen to us, man. They're like, the hell with y'all. Y'all crazy. Because we're not credible to these people, because we're not hiding behind some type of, we're not hiding behind a lot of money. And we don't have what they call public opinion on our side. So we're just men on the streets to just sound like a bunch of crazy people making this stuff up, when in fact it's out of the Bible. But if Esau says it, then, you know, everybody would accept it. But it says here, behold, I've told you before. Wherefore, if they should say unto you, behold, he is in a desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in a secret chamber, believe it not. Before as lightning coming out of the east, and he's telling you how he's getting ready to come back. Lightning coming out of the east and shining into the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Yeah. So Lord is going to appear, man. The chariot is going to come, and before you know it, the sky going to crack open, it's going to get dark, and the Lord is going to get the wrecking shop on these people, man. You know, and it reads, whatsoever the carcass is, there the eagles will be gathered. And immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun should be darkened, and the moon should not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven should be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, which is the ships. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, man. All right, so the chariots represents the clouds. So let's look up that word clouds, see what it says in the Greek. Let's see here.
Strong's G 3507. Nephele. Nephele.
All right, a cloud used in what cloud led the Israelites into the wilderness. Okay, the chariot, the ship. so-called UFO. And he should send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, because it's gonna be a very vocal day, if that make any sense, man. And they should gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other, because our deliverance. All right. 2 Ezra 13, and I'm gonna start at verses 2. It says, "And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof." And the sea is talking about the heavens. All right, the Shemayim, the heavens, the waters. It says, "And I behold, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he is turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth felleth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven, to subdue the man that came out of the sea, which was Yahushua. But behold, and lo, he graved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it." And that mountain is talking about the chariot, the ship. "But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not, because that's how huge it was, man. And on top of that, the Lord, he returned from the fourth dimension, which is the spirit world. Okay. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him was so afraid, and yet does fight." Okay, so Revelation 12 and 12 goes into the war in heaven. This is what this is talking about. So this is going to be your concept of your alien invasion on the planet Earth, when Yahushua comes and redeem his elect, man. All right, and there'll be a lot of judgment, a lot of death that day. Okay, the scriptures tells us in the book of I think, is it Joel or Amos, that isn't the day dark and not light. All right, but Revelation 12 and 12, it says, matter of fact, 12 and 10. No, let's start at Revelation 12 and 7. It says, "And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought his angels." So reading this without understanding, you assume that it's talking about literally the spirit world, where the Most High and the angels dwell. But no, the heavens is talking about literally within our atmosphere. Okay, the dimension between the first and second heaven, which the first heaven is considered our firmament, the sky, where we see the clouds and so forth. And then you got the second heaven, which is considered the outer atmosphere, or the mesosphere, stratosphere, which they would consider space. All right, so that's where the war is going to take place, in heaven. It says, "Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought his angels," that's the military, "and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And a great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world, and he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were casted out with him." So a demon would think that's talking about, well, yeah, they lost the war, so the Most High cast the spirits down to walk among men on the planet Earth. No, this is actually talking about the Esau's military versus Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh's army. Because look, verse 10 proves it. It says, "And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his anointed." It says, "For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night." Okay, so that's when the kingdom sets up, or when the kingdom comes, man. So that's not talking about some war in a spiritual world. No, this is actually talking about here on the earth, or within the heavens of the earth, man. All right. Lord said he would not meet thee as a man. I think that's Isaiah 47 and 3. It says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I would take vengeance, and I would not meet thee as a man." Because Yahushua is coming back as an angelic, unstoppable force, man, to put hell on you people. All right. One more precept and I'll end it. It's the book of Isaiah 63, and I'm gonna start at 1. And it says, "Who is that cometh from Basra? From Edom, with dyed garment from Basra?" All right, that's how can I say it? That's symbolic for America. Basra is the modern day capital of Esau's kingdom, because it's the power horse. Okay, you got the trilateral cities, Great Britain, you got the Vatican, you got America, which is the firepower behind Esau's blessing. Okay, then you got the UK, or England, or whatever you want to call, which is the financial capital. And then you got the Vatican, which means serpent, which is the spiritual aspect where all the witchcraft is conjured, And it says, "That is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save." Okay. It says, "Wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth the wine fat? And the wine fed is really talking about you people, really you Edomites. Precept to this is in actually Revelation, I think 19, or I think it's the Revelation, the 19th chapter, maybe. I got to get the precept. But it says, I've tried the wine press alone, and all of the people there was none with me. It says, for I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood should be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment, man. All right. Let's see. Yeah, is it Revelation 14? Yeah, I think that's it. Revelation 19, 13, and 5. I think that's the one I was referring to. Yep, Revelation 14, it says, and an angel thrust a sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of the Most High. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and the blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse's bridle, the space of 1,600 furlongs, man. It's going to be a lot of bloodshed in that day, you know? So, anyway, I think that's it. I'm going to end it, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Kakwadash. Lord's will, you will edify. To the next lesson. Shalom.